Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Let's Max Warframe, where today we're going to be going back and taking a look at an old favourite. A very popular weapon that my original video on is now way out of date, and that is the Vaykor Marelok. Now the Vaykor Marelok's been in the game for quite some time now, and has always been a weapon that a lot of people seem to like a lot. It's available from the Steel Meridian Syndicate faction for 100,000 standing, or from the trade channel from other players for platinum. Only a Mastery 6 weapon though, so you can pick it up fairly early on into the game if it's one that you want. So what do you get when you've got it in your inventory? Well, it's a secondary weapon. It's a flintlock pistol with a huge base damage of 160. Most of that is impact, it's got a decent chunk of slash and a little bit of puncture, and that makes it fantastic against shields and pretty decent against fleshy things. So as a Grineer weapon, it makes it rather good at fighting the Corpus, which is kind of handy. Add to that the pretty decent 20% critical chance, and although the crit multiplier is a little low at 150, does make a crit build work pretty decently. In addition to that though, the 35% status chance is huge. It actually means you can hit 100% status with 3 dual stat elemental and status mods, if you want to go that route. With this only being a semi-auto weapon as well, it means that you're going to have no ammo problems whatsoever, which you often do with some of the fully auto secondaries. It's not all perfect with the Vaykor Marelok though. While 10 rounds in the magazine isn't terrible, and neither is its reload of 1.7 seconds, it does feel pretty long at some times because you're going to be reloading pretty often. 1.7 seconds really isn't even that long on a lot of other weapons. It's just because of the frequency of the reloads. It just feels kind of clunky. It does also have pretty noticeable recoil, which if you don't try and compensate and correct that, you're going to find a lot of your shots missing the target and disappearing off into the ether. And that's going to lower, obviously, your damage output because you're not hitting anything. Long range is also where this suffers a little bit. It's not pinpoint accurate like the Lex Prime is. So if you're going to shoot at range, you're unlikely to be hugely accurate. So where you might normally be aiming for headshots, it might be worth going for body shots just to ensure you actually get the damage out there. In terms of the build though, I've got 5 former on here. I mean, I know it says 7 in the screenshot, but that's because my build has changed somewhat over the years. Comes with a V and a D polarity out of the box, so naturally the first thing we change here is that if we're going to put that D, we're going to put it into something useful. And that leaves us with 5 Vs and a dash. You could even cut down on the dash and put 1 less former on here, but I've got it on there to allow with some build flexibility. The build though, Hornet Strike, Barrel Diffusion, Lethal Torrent, both the Prime Crit mods, and that's Target Cracker, Pistol Gambit, and then 3 dual stat elementals. That gives us 57% crit, 3.2 times multiply, and 100% status. That is one heck of a combo, and after a ton of testing I found this to be the most effective combination. The reason for the dash is I was messing around with a couple of other combos. I included swapping out a dual stat mod for Maim, which would bring up the percentage of slash and make it more likely to proc slash. Although honestly, the 100% status corrosive and cold outperformed it pretty reliably. The same with dropping 1 dual stat for Auger Pact, the new 90% damage mod. That will also give you shields back to your frame based on your energy used. There is a few options here for personal preference mods, so you can tailor it to the way you play. So what do I think of the Vaykor Marelok even after all of this time? And with the huge amount of new weapons we've had that have come out since? Well, it's still one of those that when I did my top 5 favourite weapons came in at number 3, because even after all this time, it's one of my favourite weapons. I love the looks of it, the firing animation, you spin the weapon around to chamber another round into it. The noise it makes when it fires, it really does have a lot of theatre to it. Like right now, dealing pretty reasonably effectively against those 120 heavy gunner Eximus. Realistically, that's the top end of a Void Sortie and likely to be the toughest enemies you're ever going to get faced with. A lot of weapons over time get replaced or outperformed by newer, shinier things. While there are certainly other secondary weapons that outperform it, the Vaykor Marelok has only got stronger over the years. The introduction of those Prime Crit mods, it made a crit build viable on it. Give it a really nice boost in power. It still holds a special place in my heart as an absolutely fantastic secondary weapon. One that I would definitely recommend picking up and using if you're looking for a solid secondary to take you through the game. This is going to do you really well. So I hope you enjoyed my quick look at the Vaykor Marelok. I'll have more updated builds in the days to come, but for now, many thanks for watching, and I shall see you in the next video.